Good evening, everyone. This is the meeting is being adjourned here. Historic and Architectural Review Board meeting for Wednesday, June 7th, 2017. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Just did. Sorry about that. First order is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you could all stand. Our first order of business tonight is HARB 2017-13, 210 North Wayne Avenue. Looks like an addition to the right rear corner of the house. Would you like to approach and give us a little bit of information about the project, please? You can use that microphone if you like, or if you like to move around, we have this one.
Yeah. So I'm the homeowner. So our kitchen is in the back of our house. It used to be the porch a long time ago. It got converted, I think, in the 50s. It's a very small galley kitchen, and we wanted to build off of it a 12 by 15 room that will house a large pantry and a table, so we can kind of free up some space in the kitchen. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, lay it down on the table and it'll show on the screens on the sides, please. Did you say 12 by 15?
12 by 15.
So it's not a 14 by 14.
Yeah, I think it is 14 by 14. Sorry. Sure. Thanks. This is the back of the house here. This area here is our kitchen. And you can see we have a deck and patio off that. So the addition is this interior corner of the house here. You can see here it sticks out like this.
So I have a quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
This house has a bay window that's on the north side, isn't that correct, on one of the sides?
This bay window right here?
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be reflected within the designs that you had sent to us.
Yeah, I guess that is correct. There should be a bay window right here.
So in general, we're concerned about keeping sort of the character of the neighborhood. So we're interested in how much of this you're going to see from public right-of-ways and what type of, not necessarily materials, but what it's going to look like, so that we can judge as to whether or not it's going to kind of, the style is going to be the same as the current house, or if it's going to use different materials, different architectural styles. Can you speak to that a little bit,
absolutely.
please?
So it'll stick out 6 feet on this side. The bay window, however, sticks out, I believe, approximately 5 feet. So if you're looking head on to the house, you see very little of the addition. All other views, you see nothing, because obviously the bay window blocks. And if you're approaching from going down North Wayne Ave, you would be able to see it then, obviously, because you see the side of the house. There are some trees, however, that block most of that view. And we also have a fence that blocks some of that view. The exterior would be stucco, matched to the house, painted the same color as the house. The roof style would be as steep as we could make it. Right, a hip roof, and as steep as we can make it. We can't make it too steep because there's windows up there. And then that roof will wrap around the same pitch as the bay window and wrap around and cover the deck. which actually will restore a little bit of what the house would have originally looked like, because originally, as I mentioned, that was a porch and it got covered. So having it back to being a covered porch with columns will kind of restore a little bit of what the house would have looked like before they turned it into a kitchen a long time ago. The shingles we're going with are an asphalt that look like slate. You have them, right? We have the original slate roof on the house now, so they'll be matched as close as we can get. And then the windows will be, our windows are rather tall. They're all pretty tall, so they'll be the same height, very tall windows. These are going to be casement windows, and it's going to be very similar to the bay window in terms of the look from the outside, where you have kind of the pieces of trim separating the windows. So we're going to try to match the bay window, but obviously it's not a bay in terms of the windows on the addition.
I think you're hearing
comment?
pause from us. Sorry, Bob, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Could you just review once again the type of roof material? It's going to be shingle? Is that correct?
It's a CertainTeed asphalt shingle. It's called the Belmont series. It's an asphalt shingle, but it's designed to look like a slate.
Have you looked at the neighbors? Because it looked like the neighbor next to you has that type of shingle roof up there.
The neighbors, I believe, have just asphalt shingles.
Asphalt shingles.
Yeah,
Yes, they do.
I'm pretty sure, there's actually very few houses in the immediate vicinity that have the original slate. They're almost all asphalt for this area.
Okay. And what color would that slate be-ish like?
It's probably probably this colonial slate where it's like a grayish.
Okay.
The slate's it's weathered, so you're not going to get probably something that matched what it used to look like, but you can get close.
Okay. Thank you.
So before we move forward, I think we also need to clear up the dimensions.
I think there was a mistake somewhere. It comes out for sure 12 feet out into the side yard, and that's 6 feet on the house, and then 6 feet out of the house. And it's 15 feet into the backyard, so there must have been a typo at some point, but it's 12 by 15.
Okay, so I'm presuming that they've already passed this through you guys? They have not yet? Okay.
No, we originally submitted for a grading permit, and that's when they told us we were in the historic district.
Okay,
And that's what
The application says 14 by 14.
all right.
Okay, I thought the site drawings had the 12 by 15. I'm positive they did. I think it might just be a typo or a mistake on the application.
So here's kind of a concern from my point of view. I don't feel like we have enough information to really make a decision on this. I feel like the plans aren't even completely drawn because I can't figure out what kind of foundation this is going to have.
Well-
And we're taking some of this on your word, but I don't want to discount that, but at the same time, I don't know that I can improve something that I don't feel like all the information is correct and/or given.
I think
to me.
there's, from my understanding, there's only been one mistake, which is, the site plan does have 12 by 15. I think it's just one mistake on the application. The drawings we have here are complete.
drawings that we applied for, it said to give you site plans, and then we emailed 7 copies of structural drawings as well.
There's 2 separate items we're looking at. You're talking about an engineering or a site plan. That's completely different from the HARB application and completely different from the building application. So I think what you need to do is ask for a continuance, and it's only my suggestion, and gather all your paperwork, get them all in the right packs, and come on back and do a presentation to the board with all the proper information they're going to need.
I would really, that's a month away. I would really prefer, for us to clarify, if there's any questions we have, I just, it's a month
I
away.
understand it's a month away.
It was also 2.5 weeks, when we submitted the grading permits, we asked if we were in the historic district, we were told no. And then 2.5 weeks later, we were told yes. And that was skipped another, so now we could have been doing this a month ago. So that'll be a 2-month delay. And when we submitted the paperwork, we asked if everything was included, and we got yes. So we're just, it's a little frustrating on my end.
I apologize for the frustrating
Is-
nature
what-
of the slow movement of government, but.
Is there any
the-
question that you have about the addition that we
drawings
can clarify?
that we were provided, and I don't know if you have additional drawings that we were not provided, but the drawings that we were provided to show the scale of the addition on the plat, if you will, don't really reflect the shape of the existing building. The bay window is missing. So it's very difficult for me to make an effective judgment to say how far out past that bay window is this going to stick.
I think the best thing would be for that continuance, because right now we don't have enough to go off of to recommend providing a certificate of appropriateness. And, with that time, my other recommendation would be stop by the Historical Society, take a look and see what was done in the past. It's an absolute shame that you didn't know that you were in a historical district before you started going through this process. And it's something that the Radnor Township Harb that we're trying to do to be able to include an educational component for the community. I think this speaks to that and the need for it, because I would guarantee that had you known that, you would have gone through the steps and everything that you needed to do, and you wouldn't be meeting this frustration. But it's up to you if you want to continue. But if you don't want to ask for the continuance, then we have to make a decision based off of the information that's been provided to us.
In addition to missing the bay window on the plans, you're missing a foundation on the piece that you're building, so I have no idea what that is. You're also adding casement windows, and you haven't provided any kind of evidence as to historically using casement windows on this style of house or where they're used in the neighborhood. So that's
The
gonna
house next
probably
door
come
has
up as a
original
concern.
casement windows
Okay.
on its property. There's original casement windows all along the house, right next door. It's a small addition. We're just trying to free up some space in the kitchen. It's going to be barely visible from almost all views of the road. And we're going to try to make it look as close as possible to the original house. It's only a 12 by 15 addition. It's 100 and whatever that is, 50 or 60 square feet. So I just implore you to, I apologize for excluding the bay window from the site plot.
Part of what our responsibility is to review materials that you submit to assure that what you're doing fits with the historical nature of the district.
I understand.
And without all of the information, it's very difficult for us to make a decision. I certainly understand your issues. I don't want you to think I'm minimizing them, but we do have a process here, and we have to follow those rules. I suggest that a continuance is not as onerous as you probably feel it is now. It'll give you the time you need to do the research, to come back to us and show us what your neighbor's house looks like with these casement windows that are original. To give us a drawing that has the scale with the bay windows so we have a better understanding of what we're looking at. I apologize that that's the way it is, but that's the way it is.
I don't know, the the original documents that we sent for the grading permit had the bay window in them. We had it redrawn by an architect because they were required to for the grading permit, and it doesn't seem like she included the bay window. But the ones that we originally submitted did have it with the proper dimensions. If I can pull those up. I mean, I understand, like, it's difficult for us to now be delayed 2.5 months for something that we could have been doing a while ago. And I didn't, where would I be expected to have read that I needed to provide, like, pictures of the casement windows? I mean, I read the whole application. I didn't see anything like that. We provided the material. I guess to me, there's a reasonable expectation of which, if it said, you know, if you're using Windows to submit pictures of neighbors' windows that are like yours. I guess I'm wondering where the expectations are clearly laid out. I'm not trying to be combative. I'm just trying. I understand this is, you know, I haven't gone through this before. It says I have to have pictures of my neighbor's house. I have pictures of the neighbor's houses, but it has to have pictures of their windows if I'm using their windows. I have the pictures of the neighbor's houses, like that were asked for.
So, you know, we're sympathetic, and we understand that this causes delays on the construction that you want to begin. You know, you have, in my opinion, you've got the right idea. Where are these expectations? And it should be laid out in a way that's more clear and informative.
I understand.
When you end up presenting plans and you're coming before the township, there's a certain expectation in terms of the type of detail and reasoning behind that. I think that implicit within the Historic and Architecture Review Board, the historic portion of it, is the idea that there's going to be discussion regarding the history and preservation of the historic look and feel, at the very least.
Of course. Yeah.
And so, but that implicit direction is, I agree with you, it's loose at all. At the same time, though, what we have here doesn't actually reflect the house. The designs that we've been provided don't reflect what we need in order for us to do our job. So if we were to go ahead and move forward, and again, I'm speaking, this is my opinion, one out of the board. If we were to go ahead and do this, it opens up a can of worms in the future when other people come in and want to do this, and then they say, yeah, but you let that other family do that. You let that other homeowner do it.
So I'm going to interject right now and say that right on the application that you signed, it says we need 7 copies of a site plan drawn to scale, not drawn to scale. We need 7 copies of architectural elevation plans drawn to scale, prepared, blah, blah, blah. Those don't have all the detailed information that we need. There's not even a foundation on this. Photographs of the building under review, adjacent structures across the street, et cetera. Photos must be labeled according to plan. We don't have that either. So I understand that you are trying, you've provided sort of half of an application to us, but it's not complete. If you want us to vote on this, we will, but we cannot. I strongly feel that we were not going to be able to complete.
We submitted the
to make a good
pictures.
decision off of a completed package.
We submitted all the pictures that for all the angles of the house and across the street. I mean, you emailed them. I'm almost feeling like the email packet wasn't got. Like, you didn't get it. Do you guys have these pictures?
Yeah,
That's one element.
Where are they labeled
Please,
on the
sir.
plan?
Okay.
We don't need to get argumentative. We're trying to help you here,
I know.
and we're
but
trying to do their
I'm trying to
job.
understand what I missed.
You want these drawings here labeled on this plan?
So we know what direction we're looking in. Yeah, there's a lot of details here that are missing.
I would like to suggest something in a very practical way. Number one, this property is a contributing member in the North Wayne Historic District. So the township has a list, And this property was built anywhere from like circa 1915, 1925. So you can have access to that. Number two, in a very practical way, go and review some of our former meetings, which have been videoed, and what the presenters have done, because many of them have really did an excellent job of what you're trying to accomplish here, and I think that would also help too. About making their case, the types of information that they presented, the reason why they did that, I think would be very helpful for your case in a very practical way, just to review some of those videos from the past. Even the most recent ones that are on the township's website, I think would be very, very helpful for you.
Understood.
I just want to say that I don't think this is going to be a problem for us to approve. We just can't approve it without all of the information.
Okay, and I just want to make sure I understand what information is missing. I wasn't trying to be combative before, because I felt like when we listed the things that were missing, at least from my understanding, we did supply them. So if I'm not clear on what is actually missing, then I won't be able to do it. So the site plan missing the bay window is clear. Like, that's obvious. I can see it. When you say the foundation, the cutaway view, does that not include a foundation?
Also, just clear up in the application the discrepancy in the size of the addition.
Of course.
That one too.
So if I just turn in my full sealed structural drawings, this will show you the crawl space. So you keep requesting about the crawl space and stuff like that. So if I just turn in the full drawings, that may give you, that'll have every detail in there, electrical, everything.
Well, we don't need to have electrical diagrams. We don't need to have structural schematics in that way. It doesn't have to go into that far. But, as Janelle is saying, there's a level of detail to the aesthetics that we don't have right now to evaluate. We're not looking for anything that goes on inside, okay? We do not want floor plans. And, we're not looking for anything that shows any type of engineering plans. Mm-hmm. What we really want to be able to see is something that represents the true nature of what the house is going to look like when it's done. And if you look at, and as Bob had said, the videos are there, they're on YouTube. And I don't blame you if they're a little bit kind of boring to go through, but if you just kind of zip through to the sections where you go back and you see what were they presenting, what were the types of things that we were reviewing, and the types of questions that we had, I think it'll be really helpful. So it's going to be with the types of things that have come up in the past, as Janelle was saying about the foundation. Does it match the existing foundation, or is it all of a sudden just stucco? The windows with the casements, yeah, we're looking for cues within the neighborhood, but we're also looking for cues from what was originally done with the house. And obviously there have been modifications made to your house since it was first built. But if you can find examples to help support the change, then that's going to go a long way. It's really about understanding what you're going to do, what you want to do, so that we can say, okay, that fits within the look and feel of the North Wayne Historic District. Does that help?
But if you look on the elevations we did provide, you were stating you didn't know how far it was going to stick out. That plan, the front elevation does have the bay window included. That plan is drawn to a 1/4 inch per foot scale. And it does show how far the addition would stick out. The windows are noted on the plans as casement windows if you look at the side elevation.
So what is that? Because right now I'm looking at 1A2. Okay.
Yep.
That's the front elevation.
Front elevation of the home.
Okay. And right now I see the bay window on the right-hand side.
And
north
directly
side,
behind the bay window.
is going to be what? Is that, that's just,
That's the addition.
is that a wall? Is
That would
that,
be-
that's
yes,
just
that's a wall.
a wall?
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Is it a textured wall? Is it?
It's going to be stucco.
Okay.
The rest of the house is stucco, basically. There's some stone on the first floor you can see here, but most of the house is stucco.
Okay. So then,
You need it
You know,
labeled in those
it doesn't have to be
situations.
labeled stucco. We're not interested in whether you're using one particular material versus another, but we do need to know what it's going to end up looking like.
Yeah, yes. So the plan was the stucco in its entirety, like all sides. You can see how far it sticks out, which I think was the big question from the site map. So the front elevation does show you, this is the view. This front elevation is the view looking at the house. And as I mentioned, the other views, you start to not see it from most other views. This is the view from the back of the house. And you can see that the pitch of the roof, we attempted to match the pitches of the other roofs. And you can also see that this now covers the back porch, which this is an uncovered back porch now. I understand everything you guys are saying. I do. I'm not trying to be combative. I really am. I do feel like these pictures do give you, I don't know what more we could provide than these pictures to give you a view of, what it looks like from all different views of the house. It's stucco just like this part, this part, this part, all the other parts except for this. And casement windows, that's the only, I think, are there pictures of?
Yeah, right here, in the one marked front and house on left is the casement windows.
I think it's the, those are-
Adjacent house.
That's not the one with the original casements, but yeah, there's casements all over the neighborhood, but there's the one that's, one other house down has like if they're not original, they're ancient. They're very old casement windows, like all wood and clearly not new. So I just, please, I don't want to like beg, but I do feel like we've answered your questions. I know that we've made mistakes. I apologize. And we will obviously have them correct for any grading permits and construction permits. I think there was confusion when we brought the architect in on the dimensions and what the expectations of the site plan were. The original site plan that we did submit, I don't know if this will show up at all. It doesn't, no. But it does include the bay window in the site plan if you'd like to see. This is the original submission. We were told to have an architect do it. But you can see that we did submit it. No, this is not certified, but this was the original one. And then when we got an architect to do it, she, I guess, forgot to do the bay window and I didn't catch it myself. But we did do it originally. I'm sorry?
I apologize, but your architect's mistake is not
I'm not,
our
I said I
responsibility.
did not catch, I take responsibility. I didn't catch it. Yeah. It was my responsibility.
Okay.
I'm not trying to,
If there's no other comments from the board, I will open it up to the public. Anybody want to make any comments? No? Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion on this?
I would like to move that we offer the applicant a continuance until next month. That we offer the applicant a continuance until next month so that we can have, so that you can go through the exercise with the Historical Commission. And I apologize for the delay, but I don't believe that I personally have enough information to make an informed decision.
I appreciate that. I would just need clarity on what information that we need. We have, the only thing I've heard is the stucco.
I'm going to ask you to stop. We've gone through this twice, and the Historic Society can help you out more.
But you guys are the ones making the decision. I just want to
Ma'am?
know what information you need for us to bring back next month. That's all. Like, outside corrections, which I just need to know what you need to see.
May I suggest that the board, again, ask for the continuance, but in the direction of what they need to do, first thing should be they need their architect on site here for the meeting. A colored rendering or drawing with details and/or sample materials for what's on there would be a great help, I think, for you guys. To correct the bay window, which is a minor thing that can be corrected, and just have those. I think most of the things are in place for them to come. So if you're looking for direction from us, as we say at the counter all the time, please have your architect or engineer come with you, because there's going to be questions that even sometimes the builders can't answer. Have your architect or engineer, perhaps some color renderings, take some more pictures in the general neighborhood, mark them out where the houses are. Those type of items will go a long way in helping the board make a decision. May I also suggest the board is offering you possibly a way to continue this. If they make a decision, a yay or nay decision, and it is a nay decision, you go through the application again. It also costs you a fee to reapply. By a continuance, they're kind of offering you the fee waiver. And it's just an assumption, but I just want to put it out there.
I guess then we have to take the continuance. Doesn't seem like we have a choice. Thank you.
If they want the continuance, do we need a motion on that? Okay.
So moved.
Seconded? All those in favor say aye. 1, 2, 3, 4. All in favor. So we're moving for a continuance for them. And I think you did a very good job of summing up some of the things that would help them.
Thank you. That's what
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Can I just ask one final question? Are you just adding to the package you have?
Again, might I suggest we have those 2 copies that we have with the pictures. Any additional information? So if you want to bring new copies back next time that are colored renderings or more pictures, please do that. But remember, we need the 7 copies of whatever you're going to bring back. We'll keep those as a reference, but anything additional would be good.
Okay, we'll keep what we have and just add it.
Right.
Do you have a timeline when you wanted to get them to you by?
June 20th.
June 20th?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry about that. At this point, we're going to move to old business. We're going to report on the new HARB ordinance that has been talked about at the last meeting or so.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Miles Kellum and I met with Beverly Barnes from the Delaware County Planning Department Historical Preservation Office. She's going to invite Corey Kegeries from the Pennsylvania Historical Commission to come and speak to us about historical preservation, so that we, who none of us are actually historical preservation professionals, will get a tutorial from him about what other communities do and what the state expects from a historical architectural review board. The next steps for Miles and me, we are going to interview each one of the commissioners individually to find out what their opinions are on the HARB when they don't have a television camera in front of them, to find out what they expect from the update, and to find out what they are willing to include or what they're not willing to include, and I think this is very important. Once we have everyone interviewed, we plan to form a working group. The working group to review will be made of 1 representative from the commissioners, 1 representative from the county, 1 representative from staff, Miles, myself, someone from the Radnor Historical Society, and we're also going to seek a citizen who's willing to serve, somebody who's not necessarily involved with the Historical Commission, but that feels strongly about historic preservation. And we have identified a couple of people that we're going to reach out to. So at this point, our next steps before the next meeting is to interview the commissioners, and we will bring a report back to you, also to seek out when Corey Kegrees can come to speak to us. Thank you. That's my report.
Thank you. Any comments on that, suggestions moving forward? Good. Good job, everyone's happy with that. At this point, we're going to open it up. Is there any public participation? No? Okay. Then at this point, we're going to adjourn. Thank you very much.